We are making the rounds here on ESPN.com. Jim Basketball with Brian Campbell. Dan Rayfield joins us in a moment. The heavyweights and junior middleweight semifinals featured on Friday Night Fights. And Brian, what can we look forward to here?
I think you have a possibility on the junior middleweight side to see a really good final if things continue playing out like we thought coming in. Brandon Adams, the defending runner-up in the middleweight on one half. The Ukrainian Stanislav Skorohod really impressed on the other side. They're going to be in separate semifinal matchups. It's going to be interesting to see if they can go the distance. That'd be a very excellent final. I think on the heavyweight side, you really haven't had one guy who's really made a case out of everyone else. I mean, Andrei Fedosov had that nice first-round TKO, but I think it's really opened up that bracket.
We're looking forward to it in a few weeks. Against Lucas Matisse. Take a guy like Andy Lee, who has one of the middleweight belts, fought many times on Friday Night Fights from the time he was, just in his first few fights as a professional. He's defending his belt coming Saturday night. So, those are two guys. And the guys in the main event on Saturday night, Lamont Peterson and Danny Garcia, they both fought many times and usually entertaining fights on TV, on basic cable, pretty much every week for all those years. And we got a lot of good fights. Now, just if you look at the guys who are active in today's boxing landscape, some of the names that got their start on Friday Night Fights that became known to the American boxing fans. I'll give you just a couple examples. They have big fights coming up. Ruslan Provodnikov, he was a staple of Friday Night Fights.
But this gives them that opportunity. Who's going to come out and stamp their name and say, I'm next, I'm ready?
This is their stage. ESPN boxing insider Dan Rayfield. As we all know, Friday Night Fights is winding down. Can you characterize the run and the impact FNF has had on the sport over the years?
Oh, Jim, it's been really immeasurable when you think about it. First of all, 17 years of regular boxing, Friday nights, people knew no matter what.
We've seen a lot of guys in recent years come out well. I mean, even Willie Monroe Jr., the winner of the middleweight Boxcino tournament last year, is going to be stepping up to face
that's a big step up.
That's a big leap. We see Peter Petrov last week on Friday Night Fights look like he's going in the right direction. Great opportunity to really just announce yourself out there. Take a quicker leap than you would normally.
To help put the names of significant fighters into the minds of boxing fans and produce a lot of good fights in the process. I think it was a very significant, important series to the sport of boxing and provided a lot of thrills over the years.
And Dan kind of touched on it already, Brian, in a sense. Why do you suppose this tournament idea has been such a positive in the careers of so many?
Quicker than maybe they would. A lot of times these tournaments, when they're properly set up, it gives the guy a chance, especially in the Boxcino where they do it, to fight 3 times on ESPN in a 3-month span. You're right out there in the forefront, pushing your name out there. Fans like the tournaments because there's context, there's structure.
That's true.
You get a payoff at the end. And we've seen a lot of fighters benefit from here, whether it was Acelino
names. As recent history has shown, there are bigger and better things out there for the winners of these tournaments. How might the successes and opportunities of past winners motivate these young men that are participating in the semifinals?
Later in May, all they have to do is literally just look. I mean, this is only the 3rd Boxcino run there was. There was the original one Brian mentioned that Freitas was a part of back in the late 90s, and then the one we had last year, and of course the one that's happening right now. But if you just look at one example, most people coming into last year's tournament, the field was basically wide open. Willie Monroe put together a 3-fight run against some decent opposition where he looked very sharp, looked good, won the tournament, and boom, his next fight. He came back. He had one fight earlier this year, but the fight after that, he's right away fighting for a world title on a big stage like HBO, in a big arena like the Forum, on a major show. That is in the tournament this year can just look to a guy like Willie and say, boy, if I go out there and I win the semifinal and the final, I can be like him, which means I can get myself a world championship fight, and I can get an opportunity to fight for a bigger person I've ever fought for in my life just because of Boxcino. And that's what it's brought to a lot of these guys. That's what the carrot for these guys is.
Absolutely. Again, it's the Boxcino tournament continuing. Friday Night Fights on ESPN2. It features the junior